Hey, what's up guys? So in this video, we're gonna be breaking down the difference between copyrights and trademarks. If you're not sure what the difference between them are, this video is for you. Perhaps you're wondering if you should trademark or copyright your logo, business name, product line. This video is going to answer the following questions. 1, how are trademarks and copyrights different? 2, what can be trademarked and what can be copyrighted? And 3, how should you approach copyrights and trademarks, and what should you think about in terms of protecting your logo, business name, and branding? All right, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What is a trademark? Anything that identifies the source of a good or service. Think about it in terms of where does it come from, who made it, where does it originate from? For example, if I showed you this, would you know where this came from? Most of you guys knew as soon as you saw it what it was. And I'm not even showing you the logo for this, but you understand where the source of this box, this fry box, came from. Or if I showed you these and I said, hey, where do you guys think I got these from? Who made this? Versus if I showed you these, and then it's kind of clear who made them, where the source is for this. And you'll notice I never showed you the logo for either of those goods, but I'm sure that you knew where I got them from, right? That's the power of the trademark. So it might be a logo, it might be a color, it might be a symbol, but it gives the brand recognition, right? I always tell people to flip these words, trademark and copyright. So let's flip the word trademark. It's the mark in the trade. There are classes of trades that businesses will fall under. So for example, you might have clothing, footwear, headgear versus services for food and drinks. And you register your mark based on the applicable trade, which means that a cell phone repair company called In-N-Out is probably not going to infringe on a burger company called In-N-Out. Two different trades, right? So now let's talk about what can be trademarked. This is the fun stuff. So I'm going to give you a small list. You have words, logos, symbols, colors, sounds, smells, slogans. Whew. Now, something that's very distinct about trademarks and copyrights is how they're obtained. Trademarks are filed via an application. They are not automatic. Now, why would you trademark these things, right? You trademark to eliminate confusion in the marketplace because your brand represents a certain company culture, set of values, a guarantee of quality, and cultural currency. So to protect other companies from trying to use your branding on their items or to intentionally or accidentally cause confusion about the source of a good or service, you create a trademark. And that's basically to say, look, buddy, you are trying to reap the benefits of my company's authority in the marketplace to make more sales. That's not going to fly. Say, for example, this box had a golden Q on it. Not going to fly, right? And it's to protect the consumer, really. Trademarks are to make sure that when people purchase, they're getting what they want or getting what they thought. All right, now let's hop on over to copyright. What is a copyright? We're going to do the same thing we did with trademark. Flip the word. Right to copy, reproduce, alter, use, sell copies of, perform or display the work or artistic expression. This is about work product ownership. Think, who maintains control as the rightful owner of this art? Trademark is about the source of goods and services, and trademarks have to be filed. Copyrights do not have to be filed because they are automatically given to the artist or the creator of the work. All right, so let's break that down a little bit more. The copyright is to protect the creator. What can be copyrighted? Blogs, all right, so writers, blogs, video, photos, photographers, music, slogans, songs, to name a few. This is not an exhaustive list. If you guys want more of what can and cannot be copyrighted or trademarked, be sure to get that download. But let's walk you through a hypothetical. You have a logo and you partner with an organization, and maybe your logo is a lot like the McDonald's Golden Arch. It's always in gold and red. This organization you partner with turns your logo pink for breast cancer awareness without your permission. That's a copyright violation potentially. And if you want to know the way around this, be sure to watch my copyright video in this series.
So, why should one even think of registering their trademark? Why register your trademark? Why is it important? So today I will be explaining there are 3 reasons why you should register your trademark. First, it is your asset. It is an intangible asset that you own. And over the many years that you build your business, the value of that asset grows. So you have to remember it is similar to a tangible property. When you have a property, building, house, would you go and make sure that you have the proper documentation to prove that you are the owner of that tangible property? Trademarks are just like that. It's just that you can't see them. It's intangible. And it is an asset of yours. So that's the first reason why you should actually register the trademark in your name. Second reason is that when you register a trademark, you have rights to that mark for 10 years. And every 10 years, you get to renew the rights. So for 10 years, and subsequent 10 years, you own the rights. And that is how trademarks and old brands such as KFC and McDonald's still have monopolistic rights for their trademark. And the third reason is that you have avenues in court to seek relief when you find copycats in the marketplace trying to steal your clients, trying to steal your market share by using either an identical mark or a substantially similar mark. By registering the trademark, you get to actually prevent the other party and have strong grounds to prevent the other party in court. So those are the 3 reasons that you should register your trademark.
Hey guys, welcome. It's just the start of the show, and I already have somebody saying, Nina, don't forget to plug in your earphones tonight. Welcome, you guys. Love it that you guys are so
Hey,
yes.
wait. I have a complaint to make right now because I thought you were supposed to change that 10-second
I
song.
haven't had time, so you need to deal with it, okay? So yes, the music is a bit fang ish from
Okay.
But we'll sort it out. I might just do 2 Zen of music and then you'll be sleeping, okay? So just calm down. But anyway, welcome you guys. Welcome. We're so happy to have you back on Just Langgar, another Just Langgar show, and we are on our 41st episode, believe it or not. So welcome one, welcome all.
Are you sure for the first? Not for the
Yes.
second? Yeah, actually it is. Yes.
Okay, cool. So we do this every single time. I mean, you want to mess with me? I know my numbers, okay? So anyway, if you're tuning in from LinkedIn, from Facebook, from YouTube, let us know. We are so happy you could join us today. Now, who's here in the house? Let us know who you are. We can see the numbers here. Hey, Imran, so nice to see you. I think you're
back.
Yeah, this is your first time tuning into Just Langgar, I think. But let us know who's in the house so we can see who you are. Okay, let us know in the comment section. Now, today's episode is really exciting for me because we're going to be talking about IP. And by IP, I don't mean internet protocol or your IP address. We're talking about intellectual property. Okay, what is intellectual property? Why is it important for you as a content creator, for a business owner, for a startup? Why you need to know? How do you make money from your own personal brand? How do I share other people's content without getting into SHIT? And as a startup, what do I need to know to not get screwed? We're going to answer all that today. But before
Guys,
we continue,
one more thing before she continue, I just have to say one thing about this topic. This is a topic that can get Nina to be triggered.
oh yes, no. Actually, I'm passionate about it. I love it.
She's very passionate about it. Okay.
Yeah, triggered about the other thing because if you saw my post on LinkedIn, I actually called people parasites. Okay, anyway, so before we continue, I would like to know how many of you guys tuning in are from the startup ecosystem and you want to learn about intellectual property and how it affects you either as a business or as a startup. Let us know in the comment section. And how many of you guys are tuning in because you're from Popcorn's community and you are now building your personal brand, your authority and impact on social media through content. And you want to learn about one, how to share other people's content without getting into trouble. And at the same time, you will also want to know how you can make money from your own personal brand and content and not get screwed. You know what I mean? Right. So if you're from the startup scene, let us know startup. If you're from the popcorns community, say popcooner, and you know what I'm talking about. If you were with us on Monday, because accidentally said popcoon instead of popcorn, so you are now a popcooner. All right.
Now it sticks.
Now it's starting to play on its own. And or if you want to do both, just say startup popcooner. Doesn't matter. I think I like popcooner. It's like you're a crooner, kind of thing. Yeah. Popcooner, yeah. Okay, popcooner in the house. All right. Ooh, popcooners. Yes, that's it. All right. And we will do our best to and Popcorn AI is saying popcorn special bot. Okay. And we'll do our best to cater to all your questions. And if we're not answering your question, just shoot your question here and we'll get it answered. Okay. Can see my name? Oh, Alzan is asking
can see her name.
Her name. Can you?
Yeah, I can see your name from here.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, but there are a few other Facebook users that I can't see. Like Michelle, I can't see you.
All right. So if you're tuning in for the first time, can we put up that thing where we need you guys to give permission to StreamYard so that we can see your name and we can put your name up here when you guys comment or when you ask questions. Otherwise, it's going to be seen as Facebook user. Okay? Sounds good?
So all you need to do is just go to streamyard.com/Facebook and then just allow StreamYard to that's all you need to do.
Okay. All right. So let us know. And also let us know what you want to get out from today's session. Like, what's the most important question for you? Why are you here to know about intellectual property? Okay.
Like me personally, right? I would really like to know, because right now we are coming up with our own online content. A lot of things that, because just on the 2nd of Feb, I was going to Shopee and I was like checking out stuff. I wanted to buy some books. And then I was typing up some names, right, for that. And I noticed some of these people, their online course is available on Shopee for $2, RM2.
Wait, who are these people? You mean like trainer example?
They're talking about people like Peng Jun, even staff from Mind Valley, right? These are like high level training stuff that's available on Shopee, and they're selling it for like $5, RM5.
No question, because can you imagine Jane, Afzan or Rohan, if you're tuning in, suddenly your program, which is US dollars, is being sold on Shopee.
You do all the stuff and then you do recording and all that, and then after that you sell it.
All the sliver, your copyright, the video you make, you make up, your lighting, all you spend on, and suddenly they sell for how much? $2 at Shopee.
20. I think the most expensive one, they're like the whole package of their whole entire program for RM20.
Oh my goodness, it's not even, it's like $5.
So like parasite like me, you'll be like, oh wow, should I buy this?
No wonder when I posted about the parasite, terasa, yes, Rohan is saying astaga. Put out that comment, astaga, ya Allah, macam mana ni, kind of thing. Oh, Mother Mary, hail Jesus.
Yeah, but these are good things for us. A lot of us, unconsciously, we are parasites.
Yes. Okay?
This is an Asian thing. We need to be open about it, be real about it, identify the problem, and then maybe from there we can move on, right?
Yeah, and it's 2020. We pride ourselves in saying that we got twin towers. We're gonna be like a developed nation and yada yada, and yet we still buy pirated stuff. So what are you? A parasite and a pirate. Worst thing. Okay, right. So
parasite is a discount, minta discount, buy pirated property. Those are we consider as parasites, right? Yeah. So just for you guys to know. Okay.
Jane is saying, don't bother with Paget. Okay, we're not even going to go there, okay? Because that's an entirely different episode. But anyway, before we introduce you to our speaker, let's find out quickly what's happening in the Popcornverse this week, because we've got a whole loaded up week for you guys, okay? If this is your first time tuning into Popcorn, we are in the business of building Southeast Asia's business influencers. So if this is something that you want to position yourself in, you can either join our community by joining our classes or just get our free resources available on our social media. So there's so many things that we're doing that you're bound to find something that you like. So what is happening in the month of February? Because Jan is over. Let's check it out, yeah? Welcome all the way from India. Woohoo! Okay. Yeah, okay, in the house. He just got better, by the way, just to let you know. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, we've launched our brand new Facebook group. We'll be teaching exactly what's working for us and our students in that free Facebook group, how to build your authority and a profitable business on LinkedIn. And we're going to go live every Monday there to give you loads of values and learning. So if you are interested in this, you want to join the group, Popcorn AI, Popcorn AI is so happy. Pankaj is in the house. Long time no see. Woohoo! All right, Popcorn AI, could you focus not on Pankaj, but put the group link for people to join, and please answer the questions, because the person who approves it is Popcorn AI, and you know she is sassy and she will kick you out if you do not put in information, if you leave blank, or she will stop you. Okay. If you just joined us for the first time, our chat bot, we do not recommend buying cheap chat bots from China, because this is what will happen. The chat bot will come, will have a life of its own. Let's just put it that way. Okay. We have no say. So, and then after this, on the 6th of February, which is this Saturday, is our last how do I explain this? The last live class of intensive profile. Okay. You want to talk about this?
Yeah. So this is the last class ever. We are not going to be doing this class anymore because we are basically progressing, and we are finding a better way on how we can actually teach our community and so our student. In a way, in the last 1 year, we also like to acknowledge all our previous students who has actually attended this program. What we did with this class is that we usually spend our Saturday to basically spend about 4 hours to help you to improve your LinkedIn profile. That's what we did. So this is the last class ever. We're not going to do it anymore. So if you would like to participate for this, come on in. It's going to be epic because both myself and Nina are there. So it's very rare to have both Ninas to come in. Because either Nina will be delivering or I will be delivering. But this time around, this is the last one. Both of us are going to be there. Right?
Okay,
so you're not going to
do something by your sound. Okay. All right. So so if you are dead serious on positioning yourself as a business influencer, then you want to start your journey here. You'll have a taste of how we do things. It's only 99 ringgit, and it's so jam-packed in value that people have come out of this 4 hours class, which is 99 ringgit, and they've closed 1 million also got. Okay, I'm not kidding. We are like, 1 million? Yeah. Okay, that's all I can say. So let's move on. Yes. Popcorn bot is not Pauline. I'm telling you, it's a cheap one from China. Okay, don't buy. Okay, Afzan. No matter how cheap they say it's on Shopee, do not buy. Okay, next Tuesday, February 9th, at 8 p.m., Popcorn Bites is back. Okay, Popcorn Bites is back, and this time we've got Angela Eimer Paloma, the habit strategist, to get you inspired on how to create good habits and perhaps even challenge your bad habits, or rather naughty habits, to switch them into good ones. Okay, so we're going to talk habits, and that's happening on Tuesday, 9th of February. Before that, on Monday, remember, we're going live to it's our first live training on the free Facebook group. Okay, right. Yep. And then on 18th of February, Just Langga will continue after Chinese New Year, right? I mean, yes. We'll have Dean Wei, and if you're interested in finding out how you can write your profile, the about section as a funnel, then this is the guy for you. He does this, and by the end of the workshop, you come up with this amazing funneled-ish without people even realizing that, they've been duped into buying your stuff. Sorry, not even duped, okay? They've been, what's that word? Gently persuaded into buying your products, okay? Wouldn't you like that? I would. Okay, and 25th is a brand new speaker we're getting. Xiao Saunders will be talking about TikTok and why you need to be on TikTok, even if it's not for you. Okay? And she's also...
I want to be on TikTok. I like TikTok.
I love TikTok. Yeah, I'm shallow.
She's going to be talking about WeChat as well. That is super cool.
Yeah. We'll try and cover WeChat as well. Depends on how much time we have. Or we'll just invite her again to focus on WeChat. Okay? Because believe it or not, you can actually be a WeChat influencer also. And I know somebody who sells perio, like all these pots and pans that make like 200K just by WeChat. And I have no idea how it works, because we have like Jurassic Park messaging app called WhatsApp. Okay? That's our thing, just saying. Okay, so now that we've covered that, that's going to be happening all the way until end of February. But tonight It's time to know what you don't know about intellectual property so you can look intellectual one and so that you don't get screwed at the very least. How's that? So are you guys ready? If you guys are ready, then let's just langgar with it.
Let's langgar.
Popcorn.
I mean, that was so close. I thought you forgot the intro video. But anyway, hey, you guys, welcome back, Popcorn Family. I'm Nina.
And I'm Amin, and welcome to Popcorn 41st Show, Season 2, Episode 4 of the Just Langgar Show.
Episode 4, I don't know if I changed that. Anyway, this is where we cover the latest on content creation, social media, entrepreneurship, and tech to help you guys position yourselves as the business leaders and industry authorities through content creation. Now, in other words, we're building Southeast Asia's business influencers by building your authority, impact, and income on social media. So if this is something that excites you, please join our community, or rather cult. Yeah.
Yeah, join. Come. Where's the
at the top?
Yeah, I know. It kind of like lags for a while. Okay, here you go. Come.
Yeah, put the photo and then you forgot. Okay?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's lagging a little bit. Okay, sorry guys, technical difficulty.
Okay, got it. Okay, anyway, so tonight we're going to be talking about intellectual property. Specifically, we're going to be talking about IP fundamentals for startups, what startups need to know to not screw up. Now, today's topic is very close to my heart because I came from the creative industry. We're talking film, TV, game, animation. And what I learned very early on, I mean, that, if you don't know what an IP is, or you don't know how to own it, you don't know how to protect it, you don't know how to make money from it, it could be detrimental to your survival as the company, as a creator. And when I was in MDAC, I was actually tasked into looking at licensing and merchandising for the animation and game companies. Do you know what licensing is, Amin?
I have no idea. I have a car license.
Okay. Now, licensing, you guys know this, especially if you're a content creator, because licensing is how you can make money from your personal brand, okay? From your startup as well. So licensing is what I would say is like a rental business. I think our speaker might correct me, but I'm just going to tembak anyway. So I would say licensing is like a rental business. You own this property, this intellectual properties. For example, Disney owns Marvel, Star Wars, all the Disney princesses, Pixar as well, which is a brand or a work of art. And it's so popular that people just want to take it and rent it and slap it on their products. Because rather than me, if I just came out with a product and if I just put, X brand or no brand, nobody's going to buy. But as soon as I put Marvel, boom, it sells. Okay. So it is the business.
Wait, hold on. I have a question. So that means if I like Spider-Man and I want to print it as my t-shirt, I have to pay licensing fees. Is that what you mean?
Okay, yes, but it doesn't work. You don't rent out your license directly to the customers. What you do is you rent it out to the people who manufacture the products. So the people who buy the license or who rent the license are like t-shirt manufacturers, are like Sainsbury cake. Those store-bought cakes with those designs in the UK. You have like what's my favorite? Oh, Peppa Pig cakes. Those are all licensed. They all come out from the same factory. Yeah. So this is amazing. I'll give you some example. Yeah. So licensing is when you rent out your IP to other business owners legally and you make a percentage of the sales. So example of this is like, when Marvel movie comes out, Iron Man 3 comes out and the toys are already out in the market. That's like crazy planning because you're working with so many people for those things to come out. Okay. And, we're talking Disney t-shirts, dolls, Disney cakes at the grocery store, Bobo Boy comic books, and even Jack Daniel, they have their own barbecue sauce. That is a licensed product. Okay. And chocolate, Jack Daniels has chocolates. They license it out. And a great example for you who's building your brand, a personal brand, is, for example, like J-Lo and perfume. Jessica Simpson and perfume. So you could literally be coming up with your own perfume. You don't produce it yourself, but you license out your brand to a company, a perfume company, and they produce it for you. Does that make sense? And you know who's the best at doing this? America or America. Okay?
So I can license popcornness.
Of course. to be a popular, very exclusive. Okay, so this is called the licensing and merchandising industry, and it's so huge. We're talking $1 billion worth. Okay, and the biggest player in this market is definitely Disney, which is why they didn't bet an eyelid when they bought the Star Wars franchise or the Marvel franchise, because they knew they were going to make back money, because they own about 50% of the licensing and merchandising industry market in the industry. Does that even make sense? Okay, I don't know. Geetha will probably correct me.
That's a billion dollar business, then.
Yeah,
and a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. So knowing this is going to help you understand your IP and help you make money and protect yourself, okay? Because you have content, okay? Now, but if you give that ownership rights away to, or you share it with platforms, then you are screwed, which is why Spotify wanted, is it Joe Rogan's podcast?
Yep.
Yeah. And that is why OK Let Go did not give their rights. If they gave their rights, whatever sponsor they get goes to Spotify. Does that make sense?
Okay. So this is like the whole Piramli, why Piramli is not getting money now.
Yes, exactly. It's like age-old story, because we don't know, kind of thing. And okay, this is where, the broadcast stations are like kind of horrible, because they buy all these things for like 100,000 and they can air it as much as they want, and that's it. The studio company just makes that one-time off sale because they've given that right away. Okay, so wow, 820, very long introduction, but okay, let's introduce our speaker. Okay, so all this, how do you protect yourself? What if you're a startup and you've come up with this amazing tech? How do you own that IP? How do you protect yourself? All this and more is happening now. So for you guys, what do you guys want to get out from today's episode? Let us know in the comments, so we'll be sure to ask you, because for me, we're asking from a startup point of view, from a content creator point of view, and from a marketer's point of view, what can I share? What can I not share to save my ass? Okay. Now, while waiting for all your comments to come in, let's introduce our guest, shall we? Okay.
Exactly.
So our guest tonight, Musang King, you have to first, Popcorn wants to buy Musang King Durian licensing. First, you need to know who owns Durian King license, okay? And there are certain things that you cannot own, like durian might be too vague, kind of thing. Okay, now our guest tonight is a leading IP expert in Malaysia with over 16 years experience in her field. She's got extensive experience in strategizing with companies from various industries on how to boost their value and expedite their growth using IP assets. She's always sharing her expertise on BFM, 89.9 Bernama TV, and regularly contributes articles to local and foreign publications. She's a highly sought-after international speaker who's been invited to speak at engagement and conferences in Tokyo, Nagoya, Osaka, Taipei, Ahmedabad, and so many more. And her specialties is intellectual property. We're talking auditing, securing, monetizing, litigation support, domain name disputes, drafting, franchise, license, and tech transfer agreements. And she's also, get this, Amin, you're going to be jealous, a sports enthusiast. She's completed 8 half marathons, 1 full marathon.
No way.
No way. Or Dex bike ride. And she's raising 3 millions to be influencing futuristic leaders to make a difference in the world today.
That is super awesome.
Yeah, she is ASEAN IP expert, director of KASS International, trailblazing business success through IP, and international speaker Geetha Kandiah. Welcome.
Yeah, I have to give this to you.
I'm just blown away by how many marathons you've completed.
You have to join, well, 1 marathon, lots of half marathons.
Oh, yes, lots of half marathons. Yes, still a marathon by our standard. Just topples guys over in jiu-jitsu. Yeah, Rohan is saying, wow, superwoman. Okay, cool. All right. So again, for people watching at home, if you just join us for the first time, make sure, whatever comments you have, just share. And if you have any questions, just share so that I can ask our wonderful, beautiful, talented speaker, superwoman lah. Okay, Geetha. First things first, yeah. Oh, Johan is saying next too. Wow, Geetha. Okay, that's the.
Hi, Johan.
Yeah,
He's a cyclist too.
Oh, yes. Okay. So first things first, let's start with you, Geetha, in your own words. What do you do right now, and how do you work with your clients? And do you work with them if they're from a specific industry, or what kind of clients do you cater for?
Okay. Hi, everyone, and hi, popcorners, just tuning in.
That's gonna stay for a long time.
Well, we'll definitely come back to that because you guys are creating brands on your own. Like you've got Popcorn,
Yeah.
Popcornverse, Pop Universe, right? Popcornverse, and okay, we'll come back to you guys in a bit. But yeah, so who we help? The thing is about trademarks, the intellectual property rights. Like Lina said earlier, it sounds very intellectual, but intellectual property is pretty much property created by the mind. That's why it's intellectual, right? So anything the mind conceives, when reduced to substance, you can protect. That's what we do. So when you say which industries we help, which industry doesn't create and produce stuff? You know, like the famous quote: "If you don't incubate or create, you will evaporate." So you disappear if you're not a creator. So we pretty much help any industries that creating something new, something unique. So let's start first with brands. When you look at brands, any company has a brand. If you don't have a brand, you don't stand out, you don't differentiate yourself from competitors. So in terms of trademark, we help various industries, from the food manufacturers who are putting their own labels on their food packaging, selling it in Malaysia and selling it abroad, to cosmetic companies that are doing face masks, cosmetics. A lot of cosmetic companies have also now pivoted to selling the other kind of face mask as opposed to the normal face mask.
Okay, got it.
So they have fixed their brand. So kind of like any company that uses a brand needs trademark protected. But on the technology side, because we also have engineers in KASS, and the engineers are the ones who then look at protecting how products or technology are created, what's the function behind that product. That kind of involves industries that have R&D. So this is a slightly larger company. You're looking at glove manufacturers who have machineries or the glove composition, pharmaceutical companies that invest a lot of R&D into pharmaceutical products. But you also have a lot of software companies. In this day and age, almost every software company are trying to create a new software, an app that works, that might be patentable as well. So on the patent side, technology side, you have a lot of large companies that have R&D, or a lot of startups that are also coming up with new technology. So that's the kind of range of clients that we assist.
Okay, got it. Wait, let me check my question. Okay, so let's go back to the basic, because I always get confused, even though I was teaching licensing. Okay, can you believe it? What is an IP? What is copyright? And what about trademark? How are all of them? How do I differentiate between all of them? Even though I saw the
a
video.
few years ago, I was also introduced to service mark. There's also an SM.
Yeah.
Like,
and then,
okay.
yeah, oh my God, what is this? Yeah.
Okay, the easiest way to explain it, right? Trademark and service mark kind of just reflect what mark are you putting on the trade. So that's going to be the easier way. Kind of like a stalactite, and you want to tell that whole how you remember your stalactites?
Yeah, because I was asking Geetha if there was a way to remember it easily. Like I couldn't for the longest time figure out which one was stalactites and stalagmites until my teacher said, "Oh, Nina, it's very easy. Stalactites is the one at the top of the gua, you know, or of the cave. You know, it's just like your tits is at the top. Oh, right. So every time I forget, I just like, oh, okay, got it. Stalactites is there. Yeah.
I think the audience will remember it forever too now.
Yeah, exactly. So you should know.
I will remember it for a long time.
It's not just an IP talk, right? It's like science talk too.
Yeah. So a trademark is the mark of the trade.
Right. Yes.
Flip
Correct.
the word.
So,
Okay, thank you.
Service mark is basically a trademark for services. Not many people use the word service mark anymore. It used to be what was introduced a long time ago, but not many people use it now. But it's literally a mark for a service industry. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Right.
An example of service mark and trademark would be?
You guys, actually, Popcorn is a service.
Okay.
You're giving a lot of online training, a lot of online platforms for people to learn to be business influencers. That's a service mark. So it's a trademark used on it's a brand used on a service.
Okay. So what can we protect then? The brand?
Well, many things. You've got, the brand. So you're looking at the Popcorn, and then you have a lot of creativity in personalizing, giving your whole business a personality, which is awesome about Popcorn. You guys are doing things right, because the more you give your brand a personality, your business a personality, from Popcorners to Popcornverse to Popcorn. I think there's 10,001. I've seen so many ads, and you've got a lot of creativity. It's very good because when you want to take your business to Indonesia and you start doing Indonesian version of popcorn, you go to Thailand and do a Thai version of popcorn. It's exactly what you said. You will be licensing the rights, but you have more than just popcorn. You'll be licensing the personality, the theme of it, what slogans you use. So you have a service mark of popcorn and all the other brands that keep appearing.
Okay, and a trademark, example of a trademark would be so that we really...
So it doesn't matter. You don't have to differentiate. In the business world, don't differentiate trademark and service mark. It's a lot of these are just called trademarks for short.
Okay.
Yeah. So they don't use service mark very much because it's exactly what you just did. It's really confusing to have two versions, two words, or something very similar.
Okay. But if there was a product which is a trademark, what would it be?
It would be called a trademark. So it's not
I mean example of
an example. Okay. Yeah. So it would be. So let me see. I've got a mouse here. So the Logitech's a trademark for a product. So kind of any products with a brand. So trademark, right? Okay. Very. I'll try to be very brief, but it's really interesting how intellectual property law actually protects two parties. Okay. It protects the brand owners because the brand owner is working so hard to build a brand. Yes. Right. And all of you guys, the influencers who are tuning in, you have to ask yourself, what brand are you putting out there? What brand are you building? Because the more you put effort in building that brand, you're building goodwill and reputation. That's where your brand value increases, right? So you're looking at brand owners being protected. That's why the trademark law protects brand owners. If someone copies your brand, you can take them to court and sue them for copying your brand if it's in the same industry.
Wipe them out. Okay, got it. Just kidding.
So
sorry, just kidding.
Yes, we can go crazy on them.
But you do it legally, okay? If you're gonna go to war, do it legally. Yeah.
Or you can send them a really nice cease and desist letter. In fact,
what does that mean? Do they get to die because it's the disease? Are you just kidding?
What are you drinking? Pass that to me.
I'm just high on life. It's just green tea so far. I'm so sorry. What about you guys? Why are you so quiet? Say something. When people screw you, don't you want to kill them? Let us know.
Depends on whether they screw you in a nice way or horrible way, right?
Yeah. So the nicer, okay, guys, if you want to be, if you want to kill them, you can do the keyboard jihadist way, but it affects your brand, okay? So what we recommend is hire Geetha and send them a classy letter called a cease and desist. And then your ass is slowly booked. Okay, how's that?
Cease and desist, okay? It sounds like you got COVID.
Exactly.
Okay, cease and desist. That means cease using my brand and desist using my brand. Right?
Oh, they do die? Damn it.
They don't die. Okay, all right. So back to it, Nina. Focus.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So the law protects two people. You protect the brand owners. You also protect people like you and me. We are the consumers. The last thing we want is when you go to a supermarket and you look at some pharmaceutical product or some skincare product and you're like, wait a minute, how come they look the same? Which one was it that I was meant to buy? And especially with skincare and consumables, we consume something, and if you trust the brand and you choose the wrong brand, you might get injured, right? You might consume something, you might get ill, you might get diseased, right? So then we
get disease as in die. Okay.
Well, it's actually not even diseased or deceased.
Okay.
Anyway. So the law protects two parties. So it's very important to remember that. So when you're building the brand as a brand owner, it protects you as well. And then now, what's the other thing, right? It's really interesting is that people always say, when do I protect it? Let me get famous first. So that's a dangerous thing because by the time you're famous, the copycats are already watching you. They already know. Yes. And we find that. So some of the cases they're facing right now, a lot of people are going online. E-commerce has boomed, right? When they go online and they haven't protected the brand, very quickly you get copycats because now your brand's highly visible. The more sales you make, you will have counterfeit products using the same brand. So it's very risky. It's very risky to wait until you're famous.
Okay, got it. So moral of the story, get your IP sorted or registered or trademarked before you become famous. Don't wait until you become famous because by then it's too late, correct?
That's right.
Okay. So that is IP. Then Copyright? Okay, what is
Copyright.
copyright? That is trademark. What is copyright?
Copyright basically is a lot of what you just talked about. You were talking about a lot of licensing, right? In the film industry. So copyright protects artistic work, which is why it's everything: the film industry, music, movies, dramas, documentaries, broadcasts, and it protects literary work, which is books. You've got ebooks, you've got novels. All of those are protected by copyright. So copyright is actually really wide ranging. Influencers who are creating video content, influencers who are creating blogs, all of those are protected by copyright. That's an area of intellectual property right as well.
Okay, so for trademark, I need to apply, but for copyright, I don't need to, is it? That's what I heard from the video.
It's automatic. So copyright is automatic, but in some countries, if you want to sue anyone who's copying it, you have to get it registered so that you can actually take the action in court. For example, Indonesia and the US. So you have to register the copyright. In Malaysia, you can take a voluntary notification, which means it's just getting a certificate from the IP office that says who you are the owner, this is when you created it, and this is what the material that is copyrighted.
Right.
Okay. I mean, any questions on that?
Yes. So Ridwan actually asked, what's the difference between registered and trademark then?
Yeah, good question, Ridwan. So registered, right, means that you have a certificate of registration. So when I say protected, when I use the word protect, it means that you start the whole process with the Intellectual Property Office of Malaysia. At the end of 1.5 years, it takes about 1.5 years, you get a certificate of registration, kind of like a birth certificate. So it's a birth certificate for your brand.
But I don't take 1.5 years to give birth. Right?
God forbid. Oh my God, imagine if you're pregnant for 1.5 years.
I think even elephants 3 years.
Elephants 4 years.
Huh? 4? Okay, never mind. Thank God I'm not an elephant.
I know, thank God we're not elephant. But
we have another question actually. Yeah. So, but which brings back to very interesting. You were talking about why people are waiting. Well, why do people wait actually? Is it because they think it's expensive? How much does it actually cost?
How much does it cost?
Yeah.
It's not very expensive. So it's around, if you go it's around 2,000 ringgit to get a trademark registered. It ranges between 1,800 to 2,500. And because it takes a 1.5 year process, there's 3 stages. You do a search. You find out if the brand's even available to begin with. We've had clients who don't do a search and then you file a trademark. Later on, there's an objection because that brand, it has an identical brand that someone else registered first, right? So you have to always find out, is your brand available? And then you file an application, the IP office does an examination. So the IP office can reject your brand on various reasons. For example, your brand has a geographical name, it has vulgar words, God forbid, right? It's got swear words. FC UK, for example, had a lot of challenges to get their trademark registered. So the IP office, so it's law in countries where you can't get vulgar marks, you can't get descriptive marks or geographical names registered. So a lot of descriptive marks, like chicken rice shop, for instance, is very descriptive. So how do they get it registered?
Right.
So they will get, so would have had struggles, and then their lawyers will have to overcome. Nice one, nice brand there. I mean,
I mean goes on and off.
But that's the brand by itself.
I mean, can you please buy a freaking wiper so you don't do this to us anymore? Okay. Anyway, go on.
So what happens is that where was I? Oh my God, I lost train of thought.
A chicken rice shop, because it's a very hard name. It's very hard to register.
So it takes time to register it. Their lawyers would have argued against the objection. So the IP office will object, then you have to argue against objection, saying that I'm protecting it in this color, in this manner. Because it's in this specific version, I should be allowed protection. Hi, Grace.
Hi.
Woohoo. Okay.
Hi, Grace.
Why is a chip small popcorn? I don't understand you.
Huh?
But Chips More took action against Chips Plus. Do you know that case?
No.
No,
what
they
happened?
know.
Could you tell us?
Chips More took an action against Chips Plus, which was a trademark in Malaysia. And the packaging was very similar to Chips More, and they battled it out in court, and Chips More won.
Yay! So, good job.
There's lots of interesting cases. There was one in China where Starbucks Starbucks took an action against Xingbaku, which is a brand in China that there's 19 outlets that came up in Shanghai.
Actually, yeah.
And Xing in Chinese means star. Baku is the phonetical way of saying bucks. So it's actually the Chinese version of Starbucks.
Of course, they're very sneaky that way. You cannot control things like that.
I remember one case in Malaysia where McDonald's sued this one mamak shop called McCurry. Long time, right?
Yeah. McCurry won, McCurry won, and I spoke to the owner.
How did that happen? How did they won?
So that's the thing, right? When you look at battles like that in court, it's not so much as comparing one trademark A with trademark B. Oh, it's very similar. It's not like that. You compare the marks, but you also look at the industry. They look at the restaurant. Is it confusing people? Is it a fast food restaurant? No, it was an Indian restaurant. Do they sell Mac Idli? Do they sell Mac Thosai? Do they sell Mac Chutney? No, they didn't have those kind of things in their in their menu, in the food items. Did they have Wi-Fi? Were they attracting yuppies? They looked at the entire scenario of, are people being confused? Remember earlier when I said the law protects either the brand owner or it protects people like you and me, the lay people. Are we being confused? If there's a chances of confusion, then two brands that are similar should not coexist.
Right.
So that's how the law. So all of that was taken into consideration.
Yeah, I can totally understand why McCurry won, because the only thing is the name, but everything else, it doesn't confuse people. You can clearly tell that they're two different things, right? You're not selling fast food, Western food, and even the style and everything is different.
Yeah, but if we owned McDonald's, right? If we own McDonald's, we would be filthy rich. That's for one. The second thing is, if we own McDonald's, we would want to sue everyone that comes very close to you. Because if you do not put a stop to it, then there'll be Mac everything. When there's Mac everything, it dilutes your brand. Okay. Where's the value in your brand? Okay,
so
popcorn, for instance, right?
Is that if I'm big, I would want to sue someone to make an example out of them. That's so hard.
I know what to do.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Ridwan has
the best in the world. Kind of like how cease and desist, right? We wanted them dead.
Yeah, but it's only fair because we suddenly have somebody selling killer LinkedIn class. I'm just saying. Okay. Anyway, there's no other name. Like, hello, there's a lot of
really?
words.
Is there really someone doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, copycat. Hey, wait. Imitation is the best form of flattery.
Yeah,
so you guys are doing something really well.
Exactly. So we've surrendered to that. So we're like, we did it first. Yeah. Okay.
So
anyway.
because of that, we are killing the class too.
You guys should have trademarked it. See, if you trademarked it, send them a cease and desist letter.
Okay.
Alamak.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry. Kind of thing. Because so Ridwan is asking, what's his question? Okay. Can we register the IP internationally? Because he asked this, if we register in Malaysia, the protection only applies in Malaysia. So we need to register at every country. Is that true? That's a very good question. Geetha.
It is a very good question. So Ridwan, I like how you're thinking. I also like how you have a big vision and a big dream for yourself. Yes, it's country by country. So in some countries, some areas it's regional, some regions it's regional. For example, in Europe, if you file one trademark in Europe, you have protection in 27 countries. So that's the advantage that Europe brings. And a lot of clients took advantage of that. And UK was part of that, so they benefited, but now we have to file 2 trademarks if our clients need protection in UK as well. In other parts of the world, it's country by country, which can be a very expensive exercise. So you need to really strategize where your business is going to be successful, where are you going to have joint ventures, where will you be franchising, or as Nina said, where will you be licensing and merchandising. My example earlier, right? Like we were talking about popcorn going to Thailand, popcorn going to Indonesia. And it's such a good concept that if you go there, licensing the rights there is important. But see, the moment you see that's a market, then protecting it there before you enter into the country is very important. Because
yeah,
now I understand. That makes sense.
Because in some countries, it's a huge battle to get back your trademark. If someone goes and chooses your trademark, right? It's what we call trademark squatters, trademark hijackers.
Okay.
I know, right? Such cute words, but it
It's
happens,
true,
and
though.
these are the awful stories I have. We have clients who oh my god, so one client. So I can't reveal names, right? They sell products. These are products to Indonesia.
Mhm.
Okay, and then their relationship with their distributor went sour. As
Oh no,
some relationships go separate, right?
it's like a
So
divorce.
Kan, so sad. Cry, sob. But what to do?
Yeah.
Back to business the next day, right?
Indonesian serial lah, you know.
Korean
Wow,
lah, Korean
look
lah.
at what Ridwan is saying, spreading infected love. Whew, so deep. Marisa's trademark parasites. Good one, Marissa. I love it.
Hi, Marissa. Hey, Marissa cycles too. At the end of this talk, everyone be cycling. Right?
Oh yeah.
So Nina and Amin, you guys need to.
I need to
I
cycle.
cycle.
Because I'm too cute.
I cycle
All these
too.
people who are cycling
Hey,
as
okay.
I mean,
But
Only
I'm a touring,
only the cool
I'm a-
ones cycle, okay?
exactly. I'm a touring cyclist. Okay, I cycle all the way to Thailand.
Oh my
That's what I do.
god. How many days? Okay. After this. Okay,
Okay, after
what was I talking about, guys? See, I keep
okay,
getting
what
into.
yeah, Marissa got disturbed just now.
So we were
Parasites.
talking about the battles. People were having
Yeah, the
fights.
battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The Indonesian one. Okay. Then we talk about
Yeah.
Indonesian parasites and infecting love. Okay.
Yeah,
Right. So then our client was selling products in Indonesia, and then the relationship got bad with his distributor. So he terminated that relationship. He continued selling in Indonesia through a different distributor. It's his products after all. It's his brands. And the second distributor was stopped from selling the products. He got a cease and desist letter and a warning letter before Nina kind of tears up that term. It's a warning letter or a demand letter from a lawyer saying that this brand is my brand. So the ex-distributor sent a legal letter saying that brand is his brand and he had already registered the brand in Indonesia. Can you imagine? So our client
Wow.
is telling us that I am stopped from selling my own products to a different distributor because my ex-distributor got so angry and went and registered the brand, and now he's telling that I can't sell my own products.
Yeah, sorry, I just need to put this here. Spreading infected love. Okay. Kit Kat break over. Okay.
So with this ex-distributor spreading infected love, what does our client do, right? So this is the problems that are real. If Indonesia practices first to file, the rule is that a person that files a trademark first has better rights. If our client wants to cancel the brand that the other wrongful party has registered, we have to go to the court, the commercial court in Indonesia, to file a cancellation action. That process itself takes about 2 years. And the cost can go up to 80,000 ringgit, whereas the trademark registration cost in Indonesia is about 3,000 ringgit. So can you see, like, it doesn't make sense to incur that kind of cost for something that you could have really saved yourself at the early stages.
Okay, so basically, moral of the story, you need to know where you're expanding into, and you want to work in advance so that you file for the IP and own it, kind of thing. And there are certain countries that are pretty notorious when it comes to this. Like, because I was taking care of all these animation companies, I know that Indonesia, they were saying that you need to file it 2 years before you go there. China, you need to do it.
I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah,
Indonesia is very notorious, and China is like, you probably have no right, you surrender. I mean, that's the urban legend we hear. Okay.
Hey, China is really interesting. We have a lot of clients coming to us saying that distributors do not even want to distribute a product if you haven't registered a trademark. That's how fearful the distributors are, because there'll be copycats immediately.
Yeah.
So they want a product with a brand that's already protected in China compared to you. Really interesting.
That's really good though, because that means they are evolving. Because when I was doing licensing, they were saying that the countries that really respect IP, where you don't get a lot of pirate products and stuff like that, are all the developed countries, the Western countries. But the ones in Asia are the ones who are having all these problems. So yes, we might be having Vision 2020, but otherwise we're still parasites. That's what I'm saying. Okay, Puffball has a good question. Puffball is saying, what if someone takes my materials? He's a trainer, by the way, and he's a damn good trainer, by the way, and takes my materials written in English and translate to BM. What will then work? Puffball, I think let's not even forget materials. They will copy it, sebiji, and sell it for 20 ringgit, according to Amin at Shopee, because that's what's happening with Peng Joon. So what can he do? You think? Yeah.
I hope Peng Joon is doing something about that. But yes, Purpal, hi to you, and thanks for your question. If someone takes your materials that's written in English, you own the rights, right? You have copyrights, and as we talked about it earlier, you automatically have rights. So these rights are yours already. Translation is a form of copyright infringement because it's adaptation of your original work. So apa macam? Well, you have rights, so you can actually sue them or send a warning letter.
Is this considered copyright or is it considered trademark?
Copyright. Remember, trademark is marked to the trade.
Mm-hmm.
Trademark is basically anything that identifies a source. It's a source identifier. If you see the brand and you think of who produces it, that is a trademark.
Okay.
Copyright is material that you're using in your business, in your training, right? Artistic or literary work.
Because a lot of people like to take training materials and then they use, and then suddenly you find yourself, hey, wait a minute, how the heck did that? Because this is what happens in the industry, yeah? So I mean, protect your rights.
So I'm gonna paint a scenario.
Ken.
I'm gonna paint a scenario. So maybe we'll understand this more from this. Okay, let's just say assume I'm an owner of a training company, right?
Okay.
And I want to trademark my company. What is it that I'm trademarking? And if I'm creating all of these materials, like training materials, I'm creating content online, I'm creating online trainings, all of those materials, so those will fall under copyright. Is that what is that right? Or
is that
correct?
Yeah.
So everything that you're creating that's artistic work and literary work falls under copyright. You are the owner of that work. The thing about, remember we're saying that it automatically exists. Should you register it or go file a voluntary notification in the Malaysian IP office? Then if you find that there's high chances that someone will be copying it, you should, because it's very easier later on to prove that you are the owner. You're the first person who originated, because you get a voluntary notification certificate that says that your name, you're the owner, when do you create it, and what is the material that you're protecting. So that acts as evidence in court to show that ownership, you are the true owner of this copyright. So you have a lot of international schools doing this, because if they are fearful of their syllabus being copied, they are fearful of their training material being copied, the charts used to educate kids, because they do know teachers sometimes leave and start a smaller version of their school. So a lot of trainers and industry, where this is where they monetize, right? They protect it because they might be copying of their material. And I guess, Purpal, it really ties in with the next question we have here, right? It is, because then how much of copying is copying? How much of copying kind of brings the other person into the hot soup? It's a tricky question. That's a tricky one because the law provides that significant or substantial copying will be considered copyright infringement. Substantial is a word that's so subjective. What is substantial? What is it? 60%? Is it 80%? Tough. The courts will actually look at the material and look at what has been copied. So you are actually looking at substantial being around 60% to 80%. Anything that you can see that chunk of it has been copied, then it's copyright infringement. Significant is there because sometimes it's a very small part that's been copied. It could be a chapter in a book or one corner of an article, and that corner might be graphs that the author has crunched all the numbers and done a survey and put up a graph, and only that graph is copied. Can you see? Not a substantial part of that material has been copied, but only a small part has been copied, but the significant part. So the law protects both versions, substantial or significant part that has been copied. And this also applies to songs. Like there's so many songs out there. Ed Sheeran has been...
Yeah,
Ed Sheeran's been... Yeah, correct. So the fact that significant parts are also found to be chorus of songs. Chorus of songs, when you copy it, that's a significant part, right? It's not a substantial part. So that's how copyright law protects the copyright owners.
Okay. So we've got a lot of questions coming in, so I'm going to go to them. So I hope you guys can be patient. This is Hanson now. Does IP only apply to the brand and product? Does it apply to business processes as well?
Awesome question. So IP is an umbrella term. So easiest way to explain it was, we talked about trademarks already. So it's brands. Then you're looking at copyright. Already touched on copyright, which is literary work and artistic work. Then let's look at product. Products can be protected through two other rights, which is called design rights, industrial design rights. So kind of like the shape of this bottle, that's got special grooves in the bottom here, yeah? So the shape of this bottle, if it's new and unique, can be protected through industrial design rights. And a company that has very unique design can protect their rights for 25 years. So you have monopolistic rights for 25 years to stop anyone else from creating that design. Who uses industrial design rights? Well, take a guess. The biggest users are phone companies. All these unique shaped phones are protected by industrial designs. Special tablets, the shape of the tablet is protected by industrial designs. You also have a lot of furniture companies, very unique furniture protected by the industrial designs and so on, right? The other ways products are protected is by patents. Patents protect the way the product functions, right? So the product, if there's a special way that it functions, there's technology behind that, that's protected by patent rights. Okay, let's go back to this bottle. The shape is protected by industrial design. But if there's a specific mechanism that makes this bottle open and close by itself, without me closing it, that has some functionality. That is protected by patents. That has 20 years of protection. Then let's go to your question, which does it apply to business processes? So you look at what type of intellectual property rights applies to business processes. In Malaysia, business processes can't be protected by any type of intellectual property rights. In the US, yeah, so you get you have a special way of doing business, and I'll come to some examples later. Yeah, in the US though, business processes can be protected. So okay, let's look at some examples. We had once a client who came to us, really interesting business concept they had. It was before Groupon, before 11th Street, and so on, right? All this voucher companies, where a voucher, what is it? Voucher is basically giving experiences as presents. But there was a company already doing this very long time ago in Australia. They will package an experience, let's say going on a hot air balloon ride, and they'll put it into a box and they'll wrap it up and send it with a balloon, and the person that delivers it is delivering an experience to the birthday recipient, right? That's quite cool because you're so sick of product and you want to get experiences. So the person that we were having this conversation with was like, I want to chalup that idea and put it in Malaysia, and can I protect it? Because I'm the first person to bring the idea from Australia. So it was a business process that was new. It's a concept of doing business. You can't protect it. So then we basically strategize on what part of this business can you protect. Then you're looking at the brand. You can protect the brand. You can be first mover in the marketplace, go out there, be fast to get all these deals and so on. So yes, not business processes can't be protected.
Okay. I guess the answer to that would be, Hanson, I think you better go make an appointment and meet with Geetha, because even though it's not protected, she can help you strategize on which parts can be protected in other ways. Yeah. Or you probably need to produce it elsewhere, I guess.
No. I mean, the other thing about business processes is that business processes can also be an app. It can be a software, right? You're putting it into that's how the business, that's how the app works. That's how the software works. So your software might be able to be protected. So you're right, Nina's right. We need more information because, like I said, we can strategize on how you can actually protect it.
Okay, right. Popcorn Bot, this is where you put Geetha's contact on LinkedIn. Thank you. Okay, next question. Grace is asking, is there a time frame to send a cease and desist letter? I'm so sad it's not diseased. If there is, would it be from the discovery or from the moment dispute arises?
That's a good question.
Hi, Grace. It's a great question. Yes, it's from the moment of discovery, moment knowledge of that infringement happens. You have 6 years. There's a limitation period of 6 years to actually take an action against any copycats.
Okay, fantastic. Okay.
So somebody can be below the radar for 6 years, and after that, that's it.
No. It's for the brand owner to. No. So it's from the date starts from discovery. What? It starts from the discovery of the brand, the person who actually wants to initiate the suit. So you can't be, so you'll be below the radar. But the moment you come above the radar, that's when I discover it. What?
Yeah, 6 years. What?
Okay. So then you'll get deceased. I'm never gonna forget that, Nina.
I mean, disease isn't died. You know what I mean? Not like diseases and you get a COVID. Okay. Anyway, so
I think this one is quite an interesting question. In the
Kelvin.
first place, where did you get the reference? Yeah, Kelvin. Yeah, Kelvin.
I think this one is a continuation from the training one. In the first place, where do you get the reference to create your material? Are they genuinely yours? Which is kind of true.
Because I think this, I'm going to elaborate on this.
Ah.
I'm going to elaborate on this because I think, right, there are certain things that's quite borderline. As a trainer or someone who's delivering a content, you might get inspired by certain content, right? And then you come up with something, right? So where's the borderline in this?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between copyright infringement and plagiarism. Where you're inspired, okay, let's say it's a novel, you're inspired, or a song. A lot of songwriters are inspired, right? So inspiration is not wrong. It might be unethical, right? Plagiarism is unethical. It's not unlawful. Universities, it's against the law in universities because it's against the rules in universities. But in a court of law, it's not unlawful to plagiarize. Plagiarism is taking an idea and using your own words to explain that idea. Kind of songs also. I can be inspired by lyrics of a song, but I can change the lyrics and make it different, but I'm inspired by it. Yeah. So it's not unlawful. It's copyright infringement. So this actually comes to copyright. We're going back to material, written work or artistic work. Copyright infringement is when there's substantial copying. That means there was not much change of words, not much change of images that was used. There was doctoring, but not that much of doctoring, right? And the other thing, right? Because if there's a lot of trainers in here and influencers, business influencers would be trainers as well. Really interesting and important to know is if you have copyright. Let's say I write a book on recipes or a book on furniture making. And board examples. Let's look at board examples. Someone goes out and starts opening a restaurant and runs a business that's very successful using my recipes from my book. Can I sue them? What do you think? What do you both think?
I don't know because it's allowed. You bought the book, right? I don't know.
It's because I'm not talking about merchandising, right? You're the expert in merchandising. It's true. You see, copyright is a limited right. It protects that book from being reproduced. Someone who buys that book cannot reproduce that book. We might end up talking about Thomas at this stage, but let me finish my recipe first and these amazing restaurants that everyone opens using my recipes. I can't cook very well, so no one will want to use my recipes. But the point being is you can't sue someone from reproducing my recipes because my book is out there. The information, the ingredients, the recipe, the way of making my food dishes is not a trade secret, right? But I can sue you if you reproduce this or if you translate my material.
Right.
Right? Okay. So that's why it's limited. So a trainer, okay, let's go back to trainers. Oh, let's go talk about you guys, right? You guys are training the world. And if you start writing some course, you have a course and you train people, okay, 3 steps to do this. This is how you guys are going to be amazing and you're going to have 1 million likes on Facebook by following these 3 steps. I or anyone else can listen, learn the concept, and do the same training without using the same words. Because you cannot protect, you see, the copyright, again, is limited. It protects what is reduced to substance. If they've taken the concept but reproduced it, then you can't sue them. If they've taken the concept and used the concept but changed their own words and changed their own material, there's nothing to sue them for. That's the tricky part about being a trainer. So what you will find, and let's look at the top trainers. Let's look at Tony Robbins. Let's look at Franklin Covey. So when you observe everything they do about their business, you will notice that their brands, their images, the color, everything is very branded. Because someone who wants to go to a Tony Robbins talk wants to go to the UPW, Date with Destiny. Can you see all the brands? I'm using brands to pull this out. I don't want to go to Tom, Dick, and Harry's training.
Yeah.
Which might be the same concept. It might be a similar training with the same concept, step 1, 2, 3. But it's not Tony Robbins. It's not these brands. So you need to build the brand value. Definitely, you need to, as a trainer, you need to build the brand value, give it a personality, have different names for different programs, and keep talking about it because that people want to go to your branded program.
At this point, I'm just going, go to that killer class. Not the same. Just kidding. Okay. Anyway,
They might be tuning in.
tune. I don't care. Anyway. Okay, now there's a follow-up question that from Michelle Lim. If it's a training material I create and use in a training together with an education company, the one who got the contract, does the material automatically belong to the education company or is it still mine?
Ooh.
Because that would mean she's an employee, right? Which goes
Well,
into
we very good question. Very good question. We have to actually there's two possibilities here. So you might be an employee or you might be commissioned to train. Yeah, to commission to not just train, actually commission to create. See, if it is a training material I create and use in a training together with an education company, the one who got the contract. Okay, so it sounds like you went to a joint venture collaboration. Then it has to be a question of what agreement did you get into with this education company? The education company got a contract, right? So what relationship do you have with this education company? Are you an employee? Are you commissioned? Or are you a joint venture? You both come in together.
She actually answered it. She was a contractor, she said.
Okay. So, and then it goes to the agreement. It goes to what was the agreement? What do you both decide on? If you are the contractor, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, feel free to answer that question also, yeah? So, did you have an agreement? If you are a contractor, it means that you were commissioned, right? If you're commissioned, the Malaysian copyright law provides that the person that commissions you, asked you to create the work, has that copyright transferred back to them. Okay, I have to rewind a bit because I have to go to the general rule, or the rule of thumb is that anyone who creates work owns the work. Okay. So that's why I'm talking about it being transferred back. As a creator of the training material, you first own the rights. But our law provides that the rights transfers to the person that commissioned you. I paid you to create that. So the rights then transfers to them. So they own it unless in that agreement you have specifically said that you're joint owners or you are the owner. So you can contract out of the law.
Okay, I have a question. Let's say I created this thing while I was under the employment of company X. Then do I own it or does company X own it?
You were building this thing while you were under employment, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, for example, you're building your own joint venture. Is it your own startup? Is that your question?
No, actually, there's two different questions. Let's say I work for MDEC, and then on the side, I'm hustling and I'm building my own startup. Then do I own that work or does MDEC own that work? I think for that, it means I own it, right?
Wow. Are you asking me like a real life question here?
No, because that's one of the questions that, I wanted to ask, because there's a lot of people now, especially during the pandemic, they're doing a side hustle, and a lot of startups start from side hustling. So
I mean, it's like encouraged, isn't it? A side hustle is definitely encouraged. Never jump before you're secure.
Exactly.
Right? So well, it's a very good question. It's a very good question. And the way I'm going to answer it is, what were you hired for? If you are hired for something that you're also doing a side hustle, your employment contract, you're caught by your employment contract. Your employer would have rights to whatever you create.
If I'm an employer, I would encourage. Come, do. Because it'll be mine.
Wow. Okay. Since you're talking about it, let me talk to you about a case. Very interesting case. Okay. Mattel, the company behind Barbie dolls. Why were you so excited? Were you a Barbie fan?
No, because we always meet Barbie or Mattel when we go for licensing shows. So yeah, because they're huge on licensing,
Yeah, they are.
We're trying to get Harajuku IP, which is Gwen Stefani's IP, which is actually made by a Malaysian animation company to be licensed to Mattel. So that's why I'm like, yeah, okay.
So Mattel had this guy, Carter Bryant, working for them. And I guess it was a side hustle because he was also making dolls for another company.
Okay.
Bratz. He was making Bratz for another company. This became a huge legal battle because he was still employed under Mattel. Mattel won the case. They won the case against Carter Bryant. And the Bratz dolls were asked to be removed from the shelves of various supermarkets, and they also won monetary damages from that suit. All because when he was employed, he was under contract to create products like that for Mattel.
Okay.
Right.
Absolutely makes sense. Okay.
Right.
My own show, Pauka gonna sue me. Okay, just say. Luckily, I own popcorn, so I'm fine. Okay, anyway.
I think that kind of explain what happens to Piramli then, right? Yeah, because he's working under Shaw Brother at that time, and his family member is not getting any royalty right now. Right.
Well, yeah, a lot of musicians sometimes when they sign the agreements with their music houses, with the production houses, sometimes they're selling a lot of their rights. Exactly what Nina said about companies that take broadcasting rights, the Astros of the world, all of them. When you do their licensing agreement, because they come with better bargaining power.
Yes.
So you kind of like selling your soul to them, right?
I'll give you an example. They were saying, Kampung Sri Wangi, is it that
the Pimai Tang Tu.
It's actually Pimai Tang Tu. It's a very famous Malay sitcom, and it's been running for 10, 20 years. And the guy who created it, didn't get anything because he created.
Hamshan didn't get anything. Seriously?
No, nothing. So Maharaja Lawak was very lucky because the guy who created it insisted that if you want this, you gotta buy it from me for 1 million. So Astro paid. I mean, that is so you need to know your right when you create something, and you, if it's good, if it's really strong, you have the bargaining power.
Yeah, the thing is, right, what we find is people get so excited that Astro wants it. People get excited that NTV7 wants it. Or like Nickelodeon wants my animation.
And then you sign the deal and level.
Yes, they don't read the agreement. They don't read the agreement. It's all in the agreement. So you're actually signing your rights away.
Yeah.
So you get to produce. They finance. So Nina knows this, right? The process is you finance your production. So everyone gets excited. Okay, I've got fund coming in. I can make my how many series now. But at the end of it, you cannot commercialize it with a third party. You might not even be able to take it to another country, another broadcast.
There's a lot of films that get not shown or they're stuck because the people who own that IP don't do anything about it, even though the film's produced. I'm serious.
So what are the common blunders that you have encountered when it comes to startup companies?
Yeah, what's the worst thing that people
the worst
do?
thing? Because I'm listening to a trend here right now, right? Like people are not really, they don't really bother about intellectual property. Because for me, I lost some money in investment when I started my business at the beginning. So I created a company, and then I have an investor that comes in. But at the end of the day, even though I managed to make money from that, but the brand actually goes back to them. So I'm like, damn it, it's something that I created, right? So
awesome question. Awesome questions. A lot of first thing is awareness. So everyone's so passionate and driven and hungry, like, oh my God, I've got a purpose in life, and they go all out, and which is great because that's how businesses actually thrive, when someone's got passion behind it. But they have lack of awareness. They have lack of awareness on the fact that I need to look at what assets I have. Intellectual property assets need to be mine. So many agreements get entered into, especially when investors come in, when there's joint venture collaborations. What are these? What am I signing my rights off to? Where are the intellectual property clauses? For example, one of the very important clauses is that if there's improvements to whatever product that I create, who owns the rights to the improvements? If there's a bunch of parties involved, who owns the rights? Do we all own rights to the improvement, or do improvements come back to me as well? Because I'm the originator of the product. I don't care that now there's 3 other parties. So there's so many questions to ask. So with lack of awareness, they don't then think what questions. You don't even need to get a lawyer, you just have to research a lot online. Of course, easiest way is to get a lawyer, because you save time on the research. You get solid questions. You get people who have seen cases, have experience of things going bad, right? So lack of awareness, lack of getting the right advice. The third one is a lot of people think it's expensive. But remember that my example of that client that got stuck in Indonesia, right? It's you're looking at a 3,000 ringgit cost versus a 80,000 ringgit cost. 3,000 ringgit cost versus a loss of business opportunity in a country with 200 million people. Can you see, like, what are we talking about? Look at what you are losing out on. So people think it's expensive. It's not, especially for protection of a brand. Brand and industrial design, the shape of the product, back to this, are not expensive. Patents, protecting technology can be expensive. Okay? That can range between 8,000 ringgit to 15,000 ringgit to protect it in Malaysia. But that's also a different range of business. Then you're looking at a lot of startups. The other common blunder is they don't have a strategy. What is your business strategy? Are you going to have premium pricing? Are you planning to market it in a specific way where you keep screaming out the unique selling point? See, the thing about intellectual property assets is that it gives you screaming rights, shouting rights. When you have a R with a circle around it, immediately your brand is perceived to have very good value. You cared about your brand in so much so that you yourself went and protected it because you know there'll be copycats in the marketplace. Can you see how much you believe in your brand
Yep.
when you put an
definitely.
R behind it? Then the second thing is when you create something new and you have protected it, that's when investors come in because investors want to know that you have market share and no one else can enter this market share, right? Back to this example of the product, the designer. Let's say you're coming up with a cosmetic product and you have awesome packaging. What makes you different from so many other cosmetic companies out there, right? Your unique shape packaging, your unique trademark, your unique bottle for that face care product. That 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 when protected kind of gives a lot of monopolistic rights. With monopolistic rights, you stand out. So suddenly, from a red ocean marketplace, you climb and become a blue ocean market player. So people lose. That's why I'm saying, like, they don't have a strategy. You don't have a strategy, and then you don't have a business strategy that ties in with your intellectual property strategy.
Right.
And then I would say the last one would be timing. A lot wait until I get famous. Let me wait. Let me build up a market first. But when you are building up a market, that is when it's very risky because people are watching. Copycats are watching, basically. With great power comes great
Responsibility.
Responsibility.
with great power comes great copycats.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That is true. Okay, so that means if we want to protect ourselves, the first things first is we need to be aware about what's happening and educate ourselves. If not,
Yes,
hire a
that's
lawyer.
Correct.
Okay. I do
So-
have one very quick question. Prathpal is asking, can a tagline be
Kind of phrase with the TM. Yeah. So what can be trademark? So maybe you can give us some examples, like
can a phrase
what
be
can be
TM?
trademark?
Yeah, okay, so easiest way, right? Think of a phrase. I'm gonna say it and tell me who came up with it. I'm loving it.
Oh, McDonald's.
McDonald's. Yeah.
Okay, have a break, have a Kit Kat. I guess.
Kit Kat. Yeah.
What's the house brand behind it? Like, so there's product brand and house brand. Who's the house brand behind it?
When you say house, it's
Kit
the
Kat.
company, isn't it?
The
Oh,
company,
Nestle,
like
right?
yes,
Nestle?
correct.
Yeah,
So Nestle.
Nestle.
Yeah. So powering dreams. Who comes behind? Who's behind
Honda,
that?
the one who
Honda.
became famous because
So
of
what did you guys just do? I said a phrase, right? And you told me the company behind that phrase. Earlier I said a trademark is a source identifier. So when I say that phrase and you immediately thinking of the company that produces the vehicles or the product or the services, that's a source identifier. That means that slogan, that phrase is a brand.
Okay,
So that can be protected.
What MACD did was I don't know what the right word is. They registered the logo, I guess. They also registered the trademark, the phrase. Anything else they trademarked? I'm loving it.
McDonald's registered, oh my god, everything. Filet-O-Fish, McRenda.
Ghostbusters.
They've got 100 over trademarks just on food items.
So each item is one trademark.
Yeah.
That's $2,000 each, right? And that's just one country.
It's also a very big company, but yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
But basically, okay, got it.
Yeah, but think about it. You know why? It's exactly my advice to trainers. That was my advice to trainers. You got to give your brands, your what you do, a personality. Because McDonald's knew that what
Yeah.
they're doing is nothing different. Any
Yes.
Tom, Dick, and Harry can reproduce a fast food chain. And you've got so many fast food chains that copied McDonald's concept.
Why
They
are
might not.
you holding your head? I mean,
Have you actually watched Founders? The story
Oh
about
yes,
Before?
yes, I did. It's not even. I
Right.
know what
You
sells
know,
is the.
yeah, the irony of this is that
What?
the whole entire thing was stolen. Okay.
I
And
know
he
lah. He
trademarked
didn't.
everything. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. But he didn't steal it, what? He negotiated from the two brothers, kan?
Yeah,
He
but
negotiated.
the handshake, he never pays what? The handshake deals,
oh,
1%.
bloody hell. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
handshake, no
yeah.
contract.
I mean, can you please
Guys,
But
explain for the
if you guys
audience?
haven't watched,
Okay, guys.
if you,
you guys
Yeah.
got to watch Founders, right?
yeah. So awesome movie.
It's an awesome movie. Yeah, go
Also
ahead,
because
Geetha,
it
go ahead.
shows, also because it shows that it's not just the brand that makes the franchise successful, it's the systems. Then there's this part of the movie where they actually go and they talk about the kitchen. Do you remember that part, Emin?
Yeah,
Where
the tennis
the
court thing
kitchen,
and all that.
they talked about how do you make the process of getting around the products and around the kitchen in a very smooth way. They drew the kitchen out. So they systemized everything that made it smooth. And that's what makes a franchise very successful. The brand is one thing, but making the systems and processes so smooth so that you can replicate it easily. And then the third thing about that movie was that they showed that real estate was the reason he was highly successful. He
Right.
kept buying up units that were really awesome in terms of location, and he'll rent it back to the franchisee. And then the franchisee, if they do a lousy job with the business, he kicked the franchisee out, ambil franchisee yang baru, and he still has that lot, he's still getting rental.
That's why I
Yeah.
call it you. I mean, I think the brain. So that's why I've always
So
worked.
I would say this McDonald's trademark everything because they are operating based on fear because they are actually doing it to someone else.
Which
That's
is
my
true.
official.
So
That's
isn't
my
that
official statement.
right?
Okay.
Or they might be one step further and they just capitalizing on everything possible.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. I'm just gonna be mindful of time check. We're at 9:20. We want to be respectful of you because you have 3 minions to take care of who's probably asleep. Okay, there is one question from Wei Xiang Ku who's saying, how can one protect services? Example, as a service provider.
Can. So Wei Xiang, it's pretty much a bit like training providers. So training providers are also service providers, right? We are also service providers. We provide IP and franchising services. It's through brands. The first one is brand. Your brand stands out, so protect your brand. Second thing is having a lot of things around you, giving personality to your services so that you use, again, brand, different programs, depending on what service you're in. You might have softwares that you create relevant to your services. So let's look at insurance companies. Prudential has a software for what they do, and it's called Pulse. So they've created a trademark for that software, and that source code is protected by copyright. So you have to look at elements of what services you're providing. What can you reduce to substance, and you can protect it through copyright for software. You have copyright on all your materials, depending on what service you provide. Popcorn, for example, has copyright on all their videos. They are filming this today. This is their copyright, even though I'm in it. And why is it not my copyright? But they are filming it. You are recording it, right? You're producing it. So that's how you need to assess what service you're providing, what materials, and what are you creating. So back to you, I would say, Wei Xiong, look at what are you creating, right? You have intellectual property rights there.
Awesome. Okay.
Now going to that, just a quick question because I think I want to relate this back to social media. So let's just say this show now that we know this is owned by Popcorn, and if somebody were to share this and they actually took the whole entire video and put it, they just took it and just post it, and it looks like as if it's theirs. Can they be sued by that?
Yeah. So if they're sharing it, then no. If they're sharing it because it's still yours, it takes you back to your YouTube page. Can you see
Yeah.
where it's still coming back to you? That's
Yeah.
not unlawful. That they're actually helping you have more likes. But if they download the video, kind of doctor it and put their own, or even if they don't doctor it, if they download it and play it on their own website, that's copying. That's unlawful.
Right. But what if they credit the source?
So
Would that be?
crediting the source is not a defense to copyright infringement.
How interesting.
So they're still liable, and it's not a defense. Crediting the source is an ethical thing to do. When you kind of like are using excerpts of a video or someone's quote in a book, then you're crediting them, right? But it doesn't, if you've copied a substantial or significant amount, so going back to what is copyright infringement, right? If you've copied a substantial or significant amount, crediting it does not mean that that person that you've copied it from cannot take you to court and win.
Okay. So if
Right.
I'm going to ask, I can just drag them to court. Just to make
The one defense that's very popular in copyright infringement, and because we're talking about social media influencers, right?
Yeah.
So the one defense is fair use. If let's look at music. If I use music, Ed Sheeran, and I play it in a birthday party, and I play his videos in my birthday party, that is used for private purposes. So if I am misusing his song, if I'm reproducing it and I have a performer and so on in my birthday party, private use, it's infringement, copyright infringement. But where it is used in commercially, and let's say in a restaurant, I start playing his music, or I get a band and they're playing music from all these artists, right? And I don't pay any royalty fee. There's royalty collecting bodies out there, yeah, and you need to pay royalties. Because it's commercial use, I can't say it's fair use. I can't go under a defense that no, it was fair use. Whereas the birthday party, it's private and personal use, so that's fair use. So there's some elements of where use is allowed. You are committing copyright infringement, but you have a defense of fair use.
Okay. Does that make sense? All right. So 5 more minutes. Let's bring this to a close. I think today was really interesting. I haven't even gone into the question. Thank you so much for all your questions, guys. I haven't even gone into social media. What can I do? What can I use? How can I not get screwed? How do I not get my ass in the line? And how do I protect myself and my brand? And how do I make money from it? Let us know if you want to have another session with Geetha, just specifically focusing on that. And then we'll get that happening for you. But in the meantime, I think, shall we bring it to a close? One last question, Amin?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Nina.
Okay.
I think you hold the card now. I think you hold the card because I think you have a lot of questions. So why not you do it? Yeah.
Okay.
Choose one.
Choose one. Yeah. Okay. Afzan had once another session. So what are your top tips, advice for people when it comes to IP protection and stuff like that? What is the 3 things that they must get from today, which they should not should have in mind, moving forward from now?
Okay. So first is, what is your business plan, right? Think big, visualize your business. And in your visualization of you being very successful, kind of like your ideal scenario, your business, right? And I guess like it's popcorn, right? What's your best case scenario for popcorn? Think that now, right? 10 years time, where's popcorn going to be? So that's first thing. All entrepreneurs, think 10 years time, where you're going to be. Visualize it. And the reason we need you to visualize it is in that visualization exercise of closing your eyes and imagining your business, you have your brand, you have products, you have all of this. What's happening, which clientele. Then we work it backwards, right? We work it backwards to like, okay, so this is the brand. This is going to be your foundation. Let's, of course, protect it. So visualize, figure out your brand, your business strategy. Second one is, let's then look at how your IP fits that business strategy. Then get it protected, especially in markets that are very risky, like we talked about. First to file has better rights than first to use. And look at markets like Indonesia, is 200 million. You can monetize so much from that market. So those are examples. So business plan, then IP plan. Yeah, so that those two. Third one is it's inexpensive. So do not think cost is going to be a hindrance. Find out, right? Find out more on that, because the last thing you want is trying to avoid a 3,000 ringgit cost and ending up with a 80,000 ringgit battle in court,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's such a
Preparation is
small
better
thing.
than suffering later. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, got it. Last question for Geetha. What's next for you?
What's next for me?
Another marathon with social
Yeah.
distancing? Yeah.
Oh no! So I did. I mean, I would love to hear about your touring, but I don't know whether Marissa and Johan are still in here. But we did a trip to Penang. We cycled all the way to Penang, and that was 400 to 500 kilometers. It was awesome. We went to Taiping we went to Kampar, from Kampar to Taiping, from Taiping to Penang. It was so much of fun. So next for me, I'm hoping MCO is lifted so I can cycle again with my crazy bunch of cycling friends and enjoy the whole experience, because all the makan is also so much fun, you know. We burn the calories and then we gain the calories.
All right. Grace is saying, Nina, Jum Kayo. I'm responding, is saying, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, kind of thing. Guys, thank you so much.
If there's no MCO we can travel, I'm actually targeting Taiwan.
Geetha, thank you guys for watching and saying that, they're great questions. You're getting so much value out of it. We're so grateful for you guys coming in and spending almost an hour and a half with us. Geetha, thank you so much for all this such useful nuggets of information and insights for us, for our community, for the people watching. Most importantly, I think I've been getting a lot of lawyers to speak on IP and rights. You are the one that doesn't make me sleep, honestly. Everybody else is like, I want to kill me already. So thank you so much.
Exactly.
Saying, let's go, Kayo. Good job. Who's this from LinkedIn? I cannot see your name, but thank you for watching. She said it's insightful. Thanks a lot, Geetha. So thank you so much. Yeah. And we also got
thank you too as well. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Popcorn, for having me over.
We're gonna hide you at the back for a while. We're gonna come back to you.
We're just gonna close everything, and then we'll chat with you in a bit.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right. Let's quickly close this off.
Yep, let's do that.
Yeah. So what do we have next? What's happening?
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me get rid of this banner first. Where do you click this now?
Oh, sorry. That's my bad. Yeah, I found it.
Okay.
Got it. So
let's do this.
So we're so glad you guys managed to join us today. We're so glad that it was an insightful session for you. But what's coming up next week is we've got this Saturday, we've got our Killer LinkedIn Profile class. If you want to position yourself as a business influencer, this is the best place to start. We've got people closing 20K, 1 million.
Last class, no more of this. We're gonna do the class
that we're doing, because we're gonna focus on our 14 weeks bootcamp. Apart from that, on Monday we're gonna give a live training in our brand new Facebook group for LinkedIn people who want to learn about positioning themselves as authorities in their industry via LinkedIn. So you can join our group. Popcorn AI, can you share the how they can join the group, the link and whatnot. And then, so this is happening on Monday night. We're going to go live. And then on Tuesday, Angela is coming in to talk about how you can turn your bad habits or your nasty habits into something that's powerful for you. Okay. So this should be a lot of fun. And then the following, next week, we're shooting.
Next week, right? Next week. After next week.
Yeah. Next week we're on holiday because we're collecting our ang paos, okay, kind of thing. So the week after we're gonna have Dean all the way from the US. So this one the time is different. We're looking at 9 p.m. because that's 8 a.m. his time, and we're gonna be talking about creating evergreen content for every stage of your funnel, so that when people read, they are sort of persuasively guided into finding out more about you and what service you offer, what product you offer, so that they don't feel like they're being sold to. So that's what we're covering. And then the week after, we're going to be talking about TikTok and WeChat as well from a WeChat and TikTok expert, Xiao Saunders. That is happening on the last week of Feb, Thursday, 25th of Feb. at 8 o'clock. Right. So that's what we have in store for you. So let us know in the comment section what you're looking forward to or who you want us to interview. But we're so grateful that you guys have been joining us tonight. Thank you so much. Good night. And let us know in the comment what's the one thing that you can take away from today that has been the biggest wow for you. Okay? Let us know in the comment.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Amin, anything to say?
Thank you so much, guys. And we'll see you next week in the next Just Langga, right? Or maybe perhaps
In
on
the
Monday in
meantime,
our.
send me some ang pao.
Right. Happy Chinese New Year, guys.
Yeah.
Good night. Have a great weekend.
Okay,
Bye.
okay, bye.
Ba, 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 ba.